Let's take a minute to go back in time, such as Monday, August 21st, 12 o'clock p.m. You walk into the exact room you are sitting in right now. Think about how you felt then compared to now. Look around you and think about your first thoughts of the people who are sitting right next to you and the people who are sitting the farthest away from you. Now the real question, are those judgments that you had on day one the same as today? The key to this is that I changed the word thoughts to judgments, because that is what people do. They judge others based on how they look and how they behave. It's the universal cognitive process, stereotyping. We all do it. We don't even realize that we are doing so, which is why it occurs so often and so quickly. People will say it's a part of life, which, yeah, it is, but how we apply it is based on us and how we behave. Intercultural communication and the many different types of communication from people from all around the world guide us to stereotyping. Now, yes, there's the basic stereotypes of most blonde women are dumb, or all guys are messy and unclean, and even that all Latinos can dance well. And these are some stereotypes that people think are just funny to use, or they're just used often. But stereotyping has a bigger issue that is used throughout society today. What about important topics, like the hashtag of Black Lives Matter, that people discuss but can't get their point across because of the different stereotypes that exist now, in this generation, the year 2017? The role of communication within stereotyping explains the meaning and the different cultural backgrounds of people and how they adapt to other cultures around them in newer generations, such as how we adapt to one another, as classmates in this classroom. When it comes to stereotyping, it is not something that can just be taken away or changed. People will continue to do it even if they don't try to. It's normal and common nonverbal communication. People around the age of 45 and older view younger adults within their early 20s as reckless due to tattoos and piercings. At our age, being 19 to 25, we view tattoos and piercings as something completely normal. More so that it's currently what is in right now, like known as a style. I bet that up to 80% of you sitting within this classroom has either a tattoo or piercing, if not both. Because that is just the generation we all grew up in and came from, which should not be thought as disrespected or to be judgmental towards, or at least that's what most of us would think, right? Stereotyping is looked as something that is negative within communication. Due to stereotyping being based on minimal experience, judgments will occur faster than face-to-face conversations with that person. However, if applying stereotypes in a positive way was used more often through communication, it could be applied as something useful through communicating with others. Think about what you see on social media. Those memes that people make up to create humor for others, like the "what are we" memes? It's always said that the man should run when the woman asks this to them, because the women are always the one who ask, right? Because they are the ones who have the feeling within the relationship, not the man. Or at least that's how most would make it seem out of the joke. It's looked at as men don't have feelings, or as a man's biggest fear is commitment. If we were to compare this to past decades ago, think about how a relationship started between two people. One would just ask the other if they wanted to date. And back then, most people would assume that the guy would ask the girl. They made the process seem so easy. But today, it is a much more complicated process between two people who don't want to bring up the commitment aspect of a relationship. That is how much stereotypes have changed the way people behave and view different concepts, such as dating for this fact. We laugh at this as something funny when we see it as we scroll through the Twitter feed, but have you ever actually given thought to it, or what it actually communicates to those who view it? Most of the time, people don't even understand what they are viewing, especially through social media. These are all prime examples, but you're probably wondering what's my point. Based on this generation and comparing it to past generations, everyone has a different mindset. We all have our own thoughts and our own feelings, and that's directed towards everyone, no matter what race, what sex, anything. But each person is their own individual, with their own background and their own knowledge. It's hard to change a person's mind on the different perspectives that exist. Considering culture is what shapes a person, you can't always go wrong with generalizing a stereotype. But to use stereotyping within communication, it's better to bring on a more positive look towards others. So instead of putting focus on communication on judgments, it should push us to confront a person to get to know them. Now this